Hello, I'm Jill Smith, Global CMO of Iris, a global creative innovation company, and I'm here with Charlotte Mostaed, CMO of Health-Ade Kombucha. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Really excited to chat with you today.
Yeah.
Love your kombucha a lot. Let's talk a bit about what some of the biggest challenges have been for you. You've been in the role now for about 3 years, and the market has changed so much from probably when you first stepped into the role till now. And so what have been some of the key challenges that have come up for you?
I mean, you are so absolutely right. The consumer behaviors around buying and purchasing are totally different now, 3 years in, than they were when I started. I started in November 2020.
Yeah.
Smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. Health-Ade was having an amazing year. Any health and wellness beverage was, as people were looking for their foods and their drinks to be able to support their overall health. And people were buying completely online, of course. They weren't shopping. And so if you think about your entire media mix and what that looked like in 2020 to now, it has shifted extremely.
Yeah.
But we also were in a really specific phase of growth at the company. So in 2020, we had launched a lot of new items and really a lot of things we were excited about, but we almost weren't exactly sure which ones were going to thrive and stick around. And so as I came in, I had the pleasure of working with the founders, Dinah Trout, Justin Trout, Vanessa Du, and got to learn what really intrinsically made Health-Ade Health-Ade. And what was awesome is we got to co-create the restage of the brand together. And so in spring of 2021, we restaged the brand. It also kind of coincided with a complete change in how we were making the product as well, as we were scaling the business. And we figured out how to keep it, what made Health-Ade truly at its core the best, highest tasting quality kombucha you can buy, but also bring it to a bigger audience and make it easier to shop on the shelf and create a campaign that invited more people in to try. That media mix has changed so dramatically over the last 3 years.
Well, even within the last year, I think your media mix has probably changed quite a bit. So
absolutely.
Talk a bit about how social commerce has made its way into how you're doing things and what that's meant from a channel standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as you said, people are wanting to buy exactly where they consume their entertainment. They don't want to have to click out. They don't want to have to do, 17 somersaults to be able to buy anything. So that's become a core part of our our e-marketing and e-commerce strategy. And it's about creating those platforms and connections. That said, a lot of people are still buying their kombucha at the grocery store, where they buy their groceries. One thing that we've wrestled with is what is the right proportion of our DTC and online business relative to our brick and mortar retail.
Yeah.
What we've now realized is that there's really not just DTC and e-commerce and retail. The entire universe is digitally enabled. And so, it's, of course, we've been talking about omni-channel in this industry for a long time, but it really is now about digitally enabled shopping and discovery. So we need to be there along their purchase journey, whether they're a Gen Z that loves buying everything online, or they're maybe a boomer consumer who's discovering and trying kombucha for the first time because their Gen Z who's living at home is telling them to try it. And they're going to add it to their regular shopping list. So we really have to think about the different types of consumers and their journeys in order to meet them where they're going to be shopping.
Within the beverage space in general, there's been so much innovation over the past few years. But when you look at the RTD or the ready-to-drink space, what propelled Health-Ade to go from your really iconic glass bottle that's still ready to drink into the can form? And what's that done from an overall sales standpoint?
It's a great question. One of the biggest barriers, and it's really rooted all in the consumer, right? One thing that we learned is that people see a brown apothecary style brown bottle, glass bottle, and they think, I don't know, that looks scary. I'm not sure if it's for me.
When I see it, it always makes my way into my cart because it's such a beautiful bottle and it feels like, oh, this is very good for me.
It does, right? But to some people who potentially this is something, they're making a health change, they're trying to get into new health and wellness behaviors, that sort of a glass bottle can sometimes be off-putting.
Bit daunting, yeah.
Yeah, and it maybe feels like it's too big of a barrier for them to try, and it's not something they can usually articulate, you know, in their conscious analytical brain, but we know that consumers think fast.
Yeah.
And so they're not always able to say, and what we learned with the can is that it cues so many more occasions for drinking kombucha. And it cues the things that we know that people that fall in love with kombucha and incorporate it into their life really love to use it for. So drinking it with a meal, having it on the go in the car, having an afternoon refreshment. It can be drank just as anyone would enjoy a soda. And we know people are walking away from big soda so often, and they're looking for those alternatives. So the can is a wonderful way to both lower the price point, lower that barrier to entry, as well as introduce kombucha to people who maybe were off-put by something that looked like it wasn't for them.
And have you found that even within the short times it's been introduced, that change has happened? It's been an easier entry for consumers. It
is, exactly. I think it communicates, there's something really telegraphic about packaging format that says, this can be drank just as you would a sparkling water, a soda, etc. That has opened people's minds to trying it a different way. What is also fascinating, though, is that our hardcore kombucha consumers who've drank a glass bottle for 11 years, they also are finding new occasions for our 4-pack of cans. They're bringing that to a party. It's much easier to buy multiples than it is to have a bunch of your glass bottles clinking around. They have our 48 ounce in the fridge. They have their 16 ounce bottle when they're drinking it at home. Then they're going to bring the 4-pack out when they go to a friend's house. So it's fascinating the way that same great liquid, but different package format can really cue different usage occasions and opportunities.
Yep, really interesting. I want to change gears and talk a bit about some recent partnerships for the brand. One is your Dodgers partnership, and then more recently, your partnership with Ryan Seacrest and iHeartMedia. Can you talk to us a bit about how you landed on those two partners specifically, and also how you're looking at performance? Like, what are they doing for the brand, and have they started to show directional shift in that direction? Yeah, absolutely. So one of our key criteria for evaluating partnerships is, can they meet us with our goals and what we're trying to accomplish in that given time period? And one of the biggest things that we're focused on at Health-Ade is bringing kombucha to the mainstream masses. It's been a beloved beverage by many in the natural food space, the very big health and wellness focused person. But what we found is that once people try it a few times and they really understand that it's great for their gut and it's very refreshing and it has this super complex, sweet and tart taste, that it's something they want to have all the time. But we need to introduce that in a very approachable way. And what better way than to say, hey, you can have this with a Dodger dog, now available at Dodger Stadium. That was a key component to us in forging that partnership, is to be able to be sold on premise so that people understand it's a beverage you can enjoy with the all-American staple of baseball. And Dodgers are in our hometown of LA, so they've been an amazing partner. And people, it's the number 1 or 2 most trafficked stadium in the country. And people are looking to the Dodgers for those lifestyle cues about what can I introduce them into my life. And so it's been a really great one, and we'll do it again next year. Awesome. It's a really good testing ground, I'm sure, just to see with just the varied group of people that are coming in and out of the stadium, how it's performing. Absolutely. And so we've grown in the LA demographic for sure. It's hard to, sometimes we're in the very enviable spot of not really knowing exactly where every single element of our growth is coming from, because we are doing so well. We're outpacing the category by 4 times. Well, it's such an interesting time to be in the category, especially with sparkling water skyrocketing in the past 4 years. But also Gen Z, the most sober, curious, and sober generation. What a perfect fit for Health-Ade within their life. Yeah, and one of the things that people enjoy about alcohol, they can actually still find in kombucha, which is a really well-rounded experience. And it's a mouthfeel, it touches all parts of your tongue kind of thing, if you want to nerd out about it. But Gen Z is the most interested in keeping up with their health and wellness. And they also are very vocal about being, hit with sort of a mental health crisis. And so they're very in tune with what happens in your gut affects your whole body. They're
there's a strong connection between mood and gut health, as well as serotonin being generated in your gut, things like that. So they're very open to using food as a way to restore, replenish, and sort of protect against the maladies that might come about. So they're an awesome generation for us. We've done a lot of mocktails and cocktails and ways that people can kind of treat themselves, have that indulgent moment that you get when you feel like you're drinking a glass of wine, but now you can know you're doing something good for your health. And it tastes great. It's just as satisfying as sort of that more interesting experience than just water.
Ryan Seacrest.
Yes. So again, back to this idea of who can be a partner that helps us introduce kombucha and Health-Ade to the world and to the US. He is an investor in the brand, actually. So he is so involved, and he was so passionate when we brought the idea to him. He had been drinking Health-Ade for a long time, and he said to us, I've never seen people want to convert other people into drinking kombucha more than I have than with Health-Ade. And it's something that I have seen as well. And it's awesome to have him as a partner because he truly drinks it in his everyday life. And he is such an open person that talks to everybody he meets. And, you know, if you listen to him on the morning radio, like I have for several years, he really has the pulse on LA and actually the whole country.
He's local. That's the thing. Yes, I think I didn't realize that he's like a real local LA guy.
He is, and his morning show is also syndicated around the country, though. So
it is, but at Dodger Stadium, like he's very much connected to that space as well.
He's an amazing partner. He's very excited about the health benefits. As you know, he's such a health and wellness nut himself. To be able to do what he does and live the life he lives, he has a very awesome, routine, and Health-Ade is a part of that, and he loves sharing that with people. And so he's just been an amazing, way to tell our story and introduce people and help them feel like this is something they can do too.
That's great. Last question. What does the future of Health-Ade look like? What are some of the things you're looking forward to over the next couple of years?
We are really excited about the brand. We're really excited about kombucha. We have an ambition to be in every single person's fridge in the country, so we're on that path for sure. Expanding to more and more retail locations will be a key component of that, although we are available in all of your major grocery stores. We are always looking at the best and brightest new flavors to join our lineup as we think about what are the experiences people want to have with their beverages, as well as where those innovation opportunities that are coming out. So stay tuned. There will be stuff coming next year from Health-Ade. We are very ambitious and excited about improving gut health nationwide and transforming calories in America. So everything we do is about this mission of inspiring people to find the power of their gut and gut health. So we'll see more and more from us in the year coming.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Jill.